What's happening? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. I hope that everybody is well out there in these incredibly trying times. There's a lot going on in the world today. And, you know, one thing about this show that I put across a couple of times is, you know, what I'm doing here is I'm putting across some medicine and an alternative to turning on that TV and seeing all that horrible imagery and all that. So, man, I just hope I could bring a little something different into your world, you know, for a little while and, you know, bring a little joy. You know what I'm saying? These are incredibly, incredibly trying times. I'm super excited about today's show. This is going to be great. Mark my words. This is going to be great. Let's see what's going on. Chilltown JC, what's up, Brad? Scott Holzer, hey man, thank you. Norway's in the house, right on. Watching from Minneapolis. Whoa. Ground Zero Chaos, Minneapolis. You know, I want to say something as we're moving forward here. I was thinking, you know, I want to do a show that I just put the link to come on the show in the comment box, and whoever wants to come on the show can come on the show. So I'm going to set that up soon because I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's going on. And Aaron, I hope you're okay in Minneapolis. Justin Flem, what's up, Drew? Dynamo, New York City, rest in peace, Carl Mosher. Right on, Carl from the Iceman. Absolutely. Hello from Italy. Hello, Andrea. I hope you're well, hun. Yo, listen, how did you see that already, bro? Yes, yo, shouting out Pitchfork. Got some new gear down here in Florida. Thank you for Pitchfork for sending me down some gear. Warren Lee, he was on the show recently. You know, thank you so much, you know, for sending me. You know, I have like 3 T-shirts down here, and like I wear the same pair of shorts like every day, you know. I would love that. I was in the middle of it. Thank you for your words. Hey, man, listen. Hello from France. What's up, Panzer? Marco, join the protest. Don't stay at home. Let's make hardcore thread again. Join the protest. Don't stay. You know, Marco, if you're really going to get deep into politics, you come to the wrong place. It's really kind of not what we're doing here. If I wanted to do politics, I would do the political show, and then, which I might at some point. But, you know, let's not get too heavy here. London, England, what's happening? Greetings from the Caribbean, Costa Rica. What's up, Tony? Anyway, listen, welcome everybody. Everyone is welcome to the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. We got a great show today. Let's get it popping. Let's bring on Steven Messina. Let's do Picture of the Day. What's happening, bro?
What's up?
What is it? Wait a second. Isn't it Sunday? I thought you'd be home on Sunday.
I am home, and I'm in the jungles of Comac right now because my cable guy came and killed the Wi-Fi right as we were about to start.
Oh, Jesus.
So I had to run to the far end of the yard to get a signal.
All right. So what? You're poaching your neighbor's Wi-Fi?
Yeah. So I'm here at the very far end of the yard. Yeah, stealing other people's signals.
Like the Dead Kennedy song, stealing people's mail. I'm stealing people's Wi-Fi. All right.
That's it.
Yo, let's keep it popping. All right. Here we go. Picture of the day. Anybody out there have a take on it? Let's hear it. Let me see what you sent me here. And here we go. Picture of the day. Boom. Oh, there you go. All right. Let me get rid of these banners here. Let's take a good hard look at this. All right. Does anybody out there know what this is? Let's hear it. Well,
does anybody not know what this is?
Yeah, they look like a scary bunch. The guy on the left looks a little bit. He got like an Elvis Presley belt buckle on. The guy on the right, you know, looks kind of scary. Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Here we go. Misfits reunion show. Danzig. Well, let's address this. Yes, that is Danzig, but this certainly isn't a Danzig show. You know, Munster's reunion, close, very close. Yes, Glenn Danzig on the mic. Yeah, that's true. HR Puffin stuff. Listen, we are 138. Glenn in the Glendas. Hold on. Good shit here. Glenn in the Glendas. Yeah, get them on the show. Right. You get a better chance. You got a better chance of seeing God if you think Glenn and Jerry are going to come on the show. But you know what? Wait. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me throw something. Let me dig something out here. Where is? Here you go. Just listen. It's not. Hold on. Stay with me. Stay with me, party people. Here you go. Not to veer off in another direction, Stephen, but just so people know, like, listen.
There you go.
Look, this is Glenn at the premiere of the Michael Alago, at the Alago film I directed. Who the fuck is that guy? The Fabulous Journey of Michael Alago, which today's guest was at as well. But listen, these guys, you know, they're not in a rush to come on this show. You know,
I thought there was the super group Anti-Danzig.
Yeah, right. Let me hold on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Picture of the Day, but
That's all
okay.
right.
So let's see what we got. Monster Mash. Yeah, Jerry, Mike, Glenn won't. Yeah, we'll see. Let me see. Elvis meets the Ramones, the Osmonds. Is this? Hold on. Is this Misfits at Madison Square Garden?
We have our winner.
And we have a winner. Bingo.
Whitney.
Oh, here's a good one, bro. Sigourney Weaver. Ouch.
Now we're never getting them.
Yeah, forget it. Listen, Jerry's already fucking pissed at me, so, you know. All right, so tell us about this photo, buddy.
This one is, to me, in my opinion, this is the greatest Misfits moment ever. This is the best show that I think that they've played to date so far. This was the Madison Square Garden show. I saw them at the Prudential Center, which was amazing, which was an incredible bill. Harley Flanagan, Murphy's Law, Suicidal Tendencies, and the Misfits. But Glenn's voice wasn't really there, and it turned out that his mom had passed away, I think the night before the show. And he still went through with it like a trooper, so I got nothing but respect for him. But it wasn't like the show you really wanted to see them blow the doors off the place. And the Garden, they came back, and it was like the Misfits show everybody hoped they would see. They sounded amazing. It was a great bill with the Damned and Rancid. And they just really, they're very smart because they sold out the Garden because everyone's thinking, oh, this could be the last show. And like a few days later, boom, they announced Philly with Agnostic Front and I think it was with the Dropkick Murphys, and I forget who the other band was. But just amazing. And they just killed it. And the cool thing was I got to cover the show with my guitar player, Rob, for Pro Sound. So we had laminates, and we were, you know, standing on the stage, you know, shook Jerry's hand. He came out, the roadie was showing us the pumpkins that Jerry makes by hand. They're like 600 pounds. And as he's showing as my hand is on the pumpkin, Jerry came out from behind the pumpkin. He was just like, you know, getting things tuned up. And I had met him actually at the Alago thing. I had met him years before. The best people, super nice guy, and they just killed the place.
Yeah, I wasn't there in Madison Square Garden, but a few people were, and I know for them that was really for Glenn and for Jerry, it was a dream come true. It was, you know, and for a lot of us, like our guests today, and a lot of us that were around back in the day, the Misfits at Madison Square Garden is a mind-boggling concept. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
imagine that.
Yeah. So that said, just real quick, Mark Tolsch, tell us about Jerry being pissed at you. LOL. No, I don't want to talk about Jerry being pissed at me because that will only get him more pissed at me. So there you go.
I just wish they released that as a live album.
Let's a couple of shout outs here. Yo, Brendan SFA, what's happening, bro? Thanks for coming aboard. We're gonna have a fun show. And also, wow, Arnie Stone checking in. Dito Montiel is a power of example, looking at his accomplishments in music and film. Yo, Arnie Stone, let me run. Boom, Arnie Stone checking in from the other side of the apartment. So there you go, man. That's everyone's getting a hand on the technology. So hey, man,
I got one shout out.
Go ahead.
After our last episode, we were all talking Iron Maiden with Mitz and with Joe James, and a gentleman from a band called Ash Return reached out to me and said, "Oh, you're into the Maiden influence? Check out our band." And it's like a hardcore band with definite Iron Maiden influence. The band is called Ash Return, and the album is called The Sharp Blade of Integrity, and it's fantastic. I've been listening to it all weekend long, and I can't recommend it enough. Ash Return is the name of the band.
Right
and I
on.
shout those guys out. That's my shout out for the day.
Okay.
And I'm just going to roam around circles here in the yard because it's
we'll see.
beautiful
We'll
out.
see in a bit. We'll see in a bit.
You got it.
It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. Welcome aboard, everybody from around the world. This is an A7 Sunday matinee show. We're going to have a lot of fun. Fryette Amplification is a small company that makes guitar amps, attenuators, and direct recording products in North Hollywood, California. Their gear is used by the Deftones, Helmet, Candiria, Stone Temple Pilots, Powerflow, Antidote, Volbeat, Doubtset, and many other heavy bands. Their brand new Deliverance 2 heads are available at Fryette.com. And while we're at it, New York Hardcore Comics opened back in 2013 when lifelong friends Debo the Pro and Lee Fraley combined their collections and obsessions for comic books, punk rock, toys, statues, magic, the gathering, and all things horror. Horror. The horror. The horror. Anybody know what film ends with that? Well, not the ending, but close to it. The horror. The horror. The store is located at 117 Main Street in lovely Dobbs Ferry, New York. If you want to support them during this pandemic, please contact them via email or social media channel for an exclusive store package. $20 gets you one of each. Exclusive shop t-shirt and sticker. Marvel Comics Venom #1, exclusive to New York Hardcore Comics. New York Hardcore Comics. Love them. We love them. Moving right along. There you go. You are correct. Apocalypse Now. Yes, Apocalypse Now. Yes, Apocalypse Now. When Marlon Brando, with his dying breath. I love that film. I love Apocalypse Now. And the documentary Hearts of Darkness is really great. That said, we're talking film today. We have a filmmaker on the show. I'm excited. Let's bring Ratbones on. Let's do Collectible of the Day. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, what up?
Hold on. Let me get that thing out of your face. What's happening?
What's up?
What do you got for us today?
All right. Well, what I see, Brandon was on. Did I see Brandon post from SFA?
Yo, Brandon from SFA.
Before I even do my bit, I had to go dig in my closet.
Uh-oh.
Break out the.
What do you got?
Who remembers these?
Ooh. Wow.
Nice, right?
Nice.
SFA. I used to have
You catching all this, Brandon?
See that, Brandon?
Cool. What
I
else?
used to have to burn down the squats, the red shirts. Ruined all my whites. So let's check it out. That was just something I had. Let's run over to the Savage Sword Conan cover of the day, number 35. We like that. That's your Conan cover of the day. And then we just got some random toys today. I actually got toys that are, a little similar of the times. We're not going to get into politics here on the show. But since they did man the first I believe, Private Rocket launched yesterday. I got these. I think these are actually 60s. Let's bring them right in so you can remember these little astronaut guys. And the same thing later on, toys like this came in bags. You know, you'd buy a bag for 99 cents, and those are all knockoffs. But these are like the actual toys that like would have came with a space set with the whole setup, and everything's lost, and you wind up with these. But you know, they're the date that they're cool. You know, I like. And then we got these guys are pretty cool too. I'm going with smalls today. I don't care. Like we always say on this show, we don't care if you don't like it. This is what I like. I believe these are, see if anybody knows. Let's play a game. Let's see if anybody knows what these are. Because I'm sure this age ain't going to know, but.
Oh, I know. I think I know. I think I know what that is.
Like your pops would know.
Yeah. No, I would know it. I know what this is. Isn't this, this was the show, they were puppets on the show, right?
And then they remade it now, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't. No, Thundercats is something different. Nope. But it was. They were in the '60s. The show they were puppets, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're
hold on. Let's see if anybody knows it. What the fuck was that? Yo, I used to watch it when I was a kid. It was like they were like puppets. It's Space Patrol. No, not Space Patrol, right?
I'm not.
Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds.
No, it's not Thunderbird. No? I like this guy the best because he's like a little Martian with those little. Can you see him?
Yeah.
He's like a little mad scientist, right?
Are you sure it's not Thunderbirds?
It's Fireball XL 500, I believe.
Huh. Now everybody thinks it's Thunderbirds, man. I think it's Thunderbirds.
I believe it's Fireball XL 500.
All right.
So, all right,
man.
Cool. And then the last thing is same smalls. This was one of my favorite sets coming up, and it was called the Guns and Navarone, and it came with a big, like, stone set. But I just got some of the soldiers from that set.
The Guns and Navarone?
Yeah, it was like a huge mountain. It had yellow guns on it.
Of course, the Guns and Navarone, and then there was a sequel, Force 10 from Navarone.
Oh yeah,
it was weak.
I know a little factoid on that Guns and Navarone is I believe when they created the Castle Grayskull, they totally were like use that as their sculpt to like kit bash that down and recreate it into something that opened up and had two. And I'll probably get to that. I have a Castle Grayskull, and my story of the day. We're rolling with the smalls, the plastics. Everybody remembers these. I wish I had a couple more, but I only have the one. The giant.
Wow.
Soldier guys.
That's dope.
And these also came in those.
I like the expression on his face.
Yeah, dude, these were sick.
He's like,
this is. We hope we don't have to see the National Guard in our cities, right?
Yeah, right.
We get political, but let's hope things calm down. We can treat each other like human beings in the world.
Right on. Well, that's
my toys of the day, guys.
And we'll see you in a bit.
I'm looking forward to hear some old school stories from Ditto. I'm kicking back. I'm gonna pack a bowl, get a cup of coffee, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, buddy. There you go. Rapone's collectible of the day. Keeping it moving. We're gonna bring our guest on, and we're gonna do Sid the Kid's gonna come on and do album of the week when our guest is on here. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. So that said, today's guest is an American author, filmmaker, and musician. Born in New York City, he came into the public eye after the breakup of his New York hardcore punk band, Major Conflict. Later, he would gain notoriety in 1989 when Geffen Records signed his newly formed outfit Gutter Boy to a $1 million record deal, an unheard of sum at the time. The band was dropped after its debut and was dubbed one of the most successful unsuccessful bands in rock history. In 2003, he published A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, a memoir detailing his life growing up in Astoria, Queens. All you Astoria, Queens fuckers out there, huh? In the early 1980s, during the rise of the New York hardcore punk scene, after adapting his best-selling book into a screenplay, he made his directorial debut with the film version of A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, with Robert Downey Jr. playing himself, Chaz Palminteri as his father, Diane Wiest as his mother, Channing Tatum as one of his childhood friends, and Shia LaBeouf as him as a young man. The film was executive produced by Sting's wife, Trudy Styler. As a director, he has worked with some of Hollywood's best, including Al Pacino, Ray Liotta, Terrence Howard, Luis Guzman, Lower East Side, New York represent, and in his last film role, Robin Williams. Please welcome my old friend, a true old school New York hardcore soldier and an A7 thumper, the pride of Astoria, Queens, Mr. Dito Montiel. What's up, buddy?
What's happening? You know, I have a T-shirt that says "I" and a picture of Louis Guzman, New York, and I was looking for it to wear, and I think I just gave it to somebody.
That's perfect.
That Louis himself gave me, so it's even more important. Although I don't know where it is.
And you know, he's like a hero in the Lower East Side, man. When he shows up down there, it's like a homecoming. You know?
And it should be. You know, it's funny. The first time I went to meet him, I had his address on, and you know, I have family who live in the projects on Clinton, but way down. Right. You know, and I recognized the address, and I'm like, I'm meeting Louis Guzman in the projects. I'm like, no way, you know. So I'm positive I have it wrong, but I'm like, you know, I'm walking down, and I walk all the way to the end, and I go into the projects, and I'm like, I'll ring, you know, whatever the bell is, and some guy, Casper, is like, yo, is this Dito? I'm like, wow, this is Louis. And I go in, he's got like a 5-bedroom place there. He's like, yo, man, I live in Vermont, but I'm not letting this place go.
Yeah, that's right. I knew that he lives in Vermont. Yeah. And those projects, those are on the projects that are, I think, on the other side of Houston Street, right, going downtown.
It's way down. It's like all the way down, you know, almost the river. Yeah, and I was like, well, he's still got his place there, and he's like, yo, it's a 5-bedroom, man. I'm not letting that go.
It's incredible. I'm a Hollywood star now, but I got to hold on to my 5 bedrooms.
You know, 5 bedrooms are going to come by.
I've got to keep it real.
And he does. Yeah, I love him. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. Tell us what's going on with you, like when this whole thing hit, and where you at?
I mean, it's nuts. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to even imagine what's going on out there. Keep trying to find the words for it. And I guess the closest I could come is I used to walk dogs for a guy that used to say when I was a kid, and he was just a big influence in my life. And I remember him saying, you know, every time you see a homeless guy, people think that guy doesn't need to be there. And everybody needs to realize every homeless person, he talked like Al Pacino, funny enough, but not that I do. But and he goes, until everybody realizes every single homeless person you see needs help. You're going to keep thinking you're seeing the one that doesn't. And it's sort of coming to mind these days with generalizations and this good apple, bad apple stuff. It's a tough time, but hopefully it gets better, you know?
Absolutely. Were you in production when this thing hit, like work-wise?
I was talking about the coronavirus. Oh, that little thing? Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Oh, that, yeah. And a man went to the moon yesterday too. Didn't that happen? I mean,
really?
I mean, holy cow. Oh no, when I was up in Humboldt County, which is like its own field of marijuana dreams.
I happen to know a little bit about Humboldt County, so yeah, I know about Humboldt. I have people up there, and I was gonna move up there at one point, so I know a little bit about Humboldt County. So yeah.
I mean, it's its own animal up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I had never been. And it's a combination of everything good and bad going on in America, and tripped out and small town America. It's just incredible. And we're up there scouting to shoot a film with Terrence Howard, who I love, my buddy, and Aaron Eckhart. And it's slowly, you know, the news was starting to seep in a little, and you saw less and less people out. And then it was just me and the DP the last 2 days, and I was like, it's getting kind of lonely out here. And and then it was like, okay, we're going on 2-week hiatus, which has now turned into 2-month hiatus. But so I've been writing a lot, but hopefully we'll be back out there. And it's a dream to work with Terrence because I love him so much, and he's totally bananas.
Well, that's an incredible skill that you have as a writer, and that's really it was your entree into the film business. And I talk with my dad a lot, and my dad was friends with Sylvester Stallone. In the very early days, and he was a proficient writer, and he had a property called Rocky, and he really insisted that if it's green lighted, that he has to be attached to it. So being a writer, it really is. I wish I was a better writer.
I mean, yeah, it's incredible, right? And it's funny, it's weird being on a show like this because I love this world so much, and I've been enjoying your show so much. And
thank you.
And it's so corny. I say it wherever I go, and it's so funny. I think there's like this 2 or 3 year blip in a lot of our lives. Some people have stuck up that feels so remarkably influential that you don't let go. And like 2 or 3 years blows by now, and I even forget. I'll say, oh, that was like last year, right? But those 2 or 3 years of the hardcore world were just so influential. And I guess what I'm getting at is this writing thing. It was like the idea that, you just write dumb little words and you play dumb little chords, and you get to go on this little stage and scream them. Like that sounded like a pretty good deal, as opposed to waiting for the Rolling Stones to come to Madison Square Garden that you couldn't afford anyway. And it was getting tough to sneak in, So,
absolutely. And I guess, walk us a little bit through, we're gonna bounce around all over the place, sure. But walk us a little bit through the first thing that you really wrote that was published, which is a guide to recognizing your saints. I mean, what was the process of that, and how did that get out there?
I mean, it's like a Mr. Magoo existence for anyone that recognizes the name Mr. Magoo. Like I said, I always wrote dumb little ideas on napkins that you think are brilliant, and in the morning it's like, what kind of crap was this while I was drinking Old English, Uh-huh. And then it was a weird time in my life, and my friend EJ, who he was always a part of the hardcore scene. I met him in LIC high school, and in his pajamas, and I thought, wow, anybody shows up to high school in pajamas is probably pretty interesting. And he was going through some tough times, as I was, and we were both looking for a place. We were kind of out on the street, to be clear, and he came with 2 composition books. Trying not to make this too long, the old black and white crappy ones, and pens, and he says, we need to just start writing. He gave me one, and we were down on, we used to hang out all night because we had nowhere to go, and it was just really a weird time, and I just started writing, and I always had this book called the Picture Book of Saints. That's the only one. I have literally 3 things from my childhood left. One of them is that, and wow. I'm not a big reader. I get bored very easily, but it had a picture of a saint on each page, and how they became a saint. And then page 2, a picture of a saint and how they became a saint. So I liked how the picture took up half the page, so you didn't have to do too much work. So I started putting a picture and writing a story about someone that I thought was important, influential in my life, different people. And I got to page 10, and I remember thinking, how many pages are a book? And I looked and I saw a little book that was 200, and I thought, okay, I'm a 20. If I could do this, 20 more times, I could have a book. And so I did it 20 more times and put different pictures. Again, it was more about people, like a reporter on people I felt you should know, not me. Just I was lucky enough to meet in my life. The dog walker I spoke about, and this guy I used to work at Tower Records with, David Weemay, got a job at a publishing place. I sent them some insane amount of photocopies of handwritten insanity. Mm-hmm. If 10 people read the book when it came out, thank God one of them was Robert Downey Jr.,
right.
Who became he's just a maniac and super cool that would take a wild chance and a ride that I can't even imagine. I did not plan this life. I didn't grow up. My father was a typewriter mechanic. A movie maker was not part of my DNA.
Yeah, and that it's crazy because being a movie maker is part of my DNA, you know, my dad's a film director. My uncle, my uncle was a film editor who worked on, you know, The Hustler and all that stuff. And I grew up in the film business, and you know, I knew you as a fellow hardcore kid, and I remember when you know, A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints came out and you were directing it. I was dumbfounded. I was like, I was absolutely confused because
me too. Yeah.
but it's incredible. And I guess Sting's wife, Trudy Styler, got involved at some point to just have the opportunity to direct like that, man, is such a blessing. That's so great, man.
She took it, you know, I mean, you know, it's weird, you know, again, this was not planned. You know, I had this book, and I remember the guy I worked for out in Los Angeles. I got a job. I literally left New York because I had nowhere to live and I had no job and I had nothing. And this guy said, "Oh, I got a music studio and you can live at it." Right. And I said, "I don't know if I could live in California." I took, you know, so I showed up, and my friend Kenny picked me up from the airport and said, "I'm going to take you down La Cienega." I had no idea where I was. And I just needed a job. And I swear it's insane, but in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm going to take this job until I can save up enough money to get a hack license. And I'm going to come back to New York because I want to be a cab driver, because then I could at least have some time to myself and be alone. Right. And then, so at that job, this guy had been a really big supporter. And when the book came out, Robert Downey was making a record at the studio. Ah. Yeah. And he was coming in and out. And Jonathan, my boss, said, Robert, you need to read this. And I had known Robert just from roaming around because he's a wild guy and you know, he's a really great artist and a wacko, you know. And he was nuts enough and to say, wow, this is kind of interesting. And he says, well, you know, Sting is in town. And I'm like, Sting, like the singer guy, you know, or the wrestler, you know. And,
right. Which Sting? You know?
And I went to lunch with him and Trudy, who had produced all her films. She's always, you know, a first-time director. That's her trip.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and she's the real deal, man. And you know, I had no idea these people. And I sit down, and the next thing I know, you know, I said, you know, I'd like to get a shot right in this. And I didn't know that INT meant interior, you know, at the beginning, or EXT meant exterior. I thought it meant exit. You know, I thought interior meant introducing, right?
And you went to, if legend serves correctly, you went into a place on Hollywood Boulevard and bought a couple scripts to just see.
I bought a script that I know they liked called United States of Leland, right? And I just heard them talking about it. Yeah. So I had said, hey, can I get it? Maybe I can get a shot of writing this thing. And you know, understandably, Trudy said, well, you know, we've got the writer who wrote that movie with Ben Kingsley where he goes, no. Can't remember the name of it, but it was a big movie at the time. And these guys like your book, and they're going to write it. And if we don't
they're going to write the screenplay.
Yes, they're going to write the screenplay. And she says, and if we don't like it, you'll get a shot. And I'm thinking, of course you're going to like it. They're like big writers, you know. And she says, well, they can't start for like 2 months. So in my mind, I was like 2 months. And I went and bought that script, United States of Leland. Right. And I started copying the way it looked on Microsoft Word or whatever it was. And I remember the weird thing is that when Robert Downey would come in and out, one day I'm like, yo, Robert, like, can I ask you a question? They keep reintroducing, they already introduced this street. And he's like, that's interior. And I'm like, oh, snap. What about when they keep exiting the room? And he's like, that's exterior. And so I got to write this crazy thing. And then it got passed around. I tell you, this is Mr. Magoo shit. You know how the construction site would land when you're about to fall, you land on something. And it got passed around, and someone called me up from the Sundance Labs, which is, I didn't know what that was. And if anybody out there is a writer or an actor or a director, you should look into it. It's a great place. And the script landed at a woman there named Michelle Satter, who runs it. And she called me at my job. and the script said my real name, Orlando, because I was embarrassed to put the same character on because I didn't even know you change names. I don't know nothing, you know. And she says, we have this thing called the Lab Sundance, and I said, oh, the movies, and she said, no, it's a lab. And I'm like, well, how much is it? She's like, free. And I thought it was like a Learning Annex scam. So,
you gotta.
I'm like, well, where is this? And she goes, Utah. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me get your number. I'll call you back. Right. And then I remember calling Trudy up and saying, I got this call from these. And she goes, you better call them back. And then it was just a remarkable trip.
That's such a great story, man. You're
anybody that's a writer or anything, look into the labs because it's like Wonkaville, and it really is free. So, because I sure as heck wasn't going to pay.
Hey, let's quickly here. Let's shout out a couple of our friends that say hi to a couple of our friends. Brendan from SFA stopping by. Big Rob from Bitter Uproar.
No, that's my guy. I saw Rob in Indiana like 2 years ago.
I saw that picture. Yeah. How about Gary? How about Gary Sunshine?
Yeah, I love Gary Sunshine, man. I'm checking out his live shows with his daughter.
Yeah. We love you, Gary, and we love the new stuff you put out, Gary.
I thought, I had mistaken that the singer of Circus of Power was in Crucial Truth. Because I remember Crucial Truth. Yes. And I, for a minute, thought it was Gary. And then I was like, oh, it's the other guy.
No, it's Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, and I loved Crucial Truth. I had that 45, man.
Yo, it's a Sunday A7 matinee show, bro. So show no mercy. Also here, Daniela Page saying hi. She's with Vinny Stigma right now.
The best.
Yep. And Todd Hamilton from Warzone. That was Sexy Beast with Ben.
That's the name. When he's like that.
Yeah, Sexy Beast. So just every once in a while we got to stop. We got to pull the car to the side of the road and say hi to our people.
Sure.
You know what? We're gonna let's veer off into we'll do some music stuff. Let's get into a little music stuff, and we'll come back. Let me just look. We'll come back and do some more film stuff.
Sure.
Let me hang with me a second. Let me shout out my sponsors. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. I want to mention my Patreon page for those that are out there and would like to support this show and support this community. That is my Patreon page right there. www.patreon.com/Drew Stone. That's what enables me to do this show. It would be great if you came on board. I'm releasing all kinds of great stuff on the Patreon page. I announced the shows on there first. Never before seen photos, videos, and outtakes from all my films. There's different tiers. The $10 tier, as soon as all this blows over, we're going to do my New York City cinematic and music walking tour together. Also, the next tier is the New York Hardcore Chronicles 10 Questions starring you, directed by me. And go check it out, man. That's what enables us to happen. And I want to say I'm really grateful that this show is a success, and it is a success because of your support. So thank you so very much. That's my Patreon there. Don't be shy. Come on by. Keeping that in mind, I would like to bring on. Let me get the banners off. I want to do record of the day. And I want you to be a part of it. Let's bring on Sid the Kid. What's happening, Sid?
Yo,
what's up, bro?
Drew?
How's everything, man?
What's going on right now, man? All we could do is just gotta hunker down and we gotta just ride the wave. That's all we can really do.
There you go. Let's do record of the day, and let's get your take on this. And with this, here we go. Record of the day. Boom. There you go. Yeah. So give us a little take on this.
Wow. This record is easily going to be, obviously over 35 years old. And even from day one, this record speaks a lot just lyrically, especially what's going on today. I mean, it's been like this in New York for quite a while, but at a time in 1982 when this was recorded, it just spoke volumes, especially to kids who were just growing up within the scene, and it just spoke about real life. And even growing up, one of the very first hardcore records I got was this from my cousin. And being 7, 8 years old, even to listen to this, listen to crazy music and crazy guitar, I related to it so much. And especially as I got older, it just seemed more and more relevant as time went on. Between John's drumming and Kenny's way tinny guitar sound, the way Jack Flanagan produced this 7-inch, it just is beyond raw. It's like New York hardcore, in a sense, to me. You want raw, you got to listen to this record full on. It's as simple as that, from my opinion.
I don't think I registered Jack Flanagan produced this.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I know he had a part in it, but he definitely didn't mix it on Mob Style.
Right on. So, Dito, any recollections on this at all?
I love that band so much, and all the people in it. I mean, John Dancy to me is probably my favorite drummer ever, and one of my closest friends from back in the day. I love John, and I haven't spoken to him in a long time. And John Kelly, they used to be White John and Black John, back in the projects,
Right.
And we had a great little scene, and I just love those guys. And that record really does stand the test of time, and not many do, and that one really does.
Yeah, I mean, this when people talk about sort of that first wave of New York hardcore, I mean, this is one of those records one of those 7-inches that is always included in the mix. Cause for Alarm, Urban Waste, Antidote, The Abused. Those are sort of the Agnostic Front. But this is one of the early pillars of the early New York hardcore scene. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're just something else, man.
And Dito, so kind of segueing into Major Conflict, right? Which is the band that you formed. There's a little crossover here with Urban Waste, right? Tell us about that.
Oh, there's nothing but crossover. I mean, it was. I got into hardcore. Billy, who was the original singer of Urban Waste before Kenny, and Freddie was the bass player who died. This is going to the original thing, I had a job as a messenger. It's always some freaking ridiculous story, but I had a job as a messenger in Manhattan making deliveries, and I had a shaved head and a black
You too?
But just because in the summer we would shave our heads, because it's easy. You don't have to pay for a haircut, right? And we'd shave our head. It's hot. And we used to hang out in my friend's basement, and there was a Blue Oyster Cult record in there. Like, I grew up with the only friends that didn't like music. Like, nobody liked music. Like, it just wasn't on the radar. In my house, there was no music. My father, there was zero music.
Wow.
So in my friend's basement, he would put on this Blue Oyster Cult record in the super fast speed, and it was the record with mirrors on it. Like, it's terrible. But, and we would literally put the light out. Somebody would put the light out, and everyone would just like beat the shit out of each other and throw weights, whatever there was. And you were just high. And I got hit in the face. And so I had a black eye and a shaved head. And I'm working at this messenger place. And this guy named Joe Gracie, who's good friends with Jimmy Drescher, said, I told him that story. He asked me what happened. He says, "You into hardcore?" And I'm like, "What is this guy hitting on me?" Like, I had no idea what he was saying. And I told him that story. And he's like, "There's a place that does that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And, not many people know Joe, but if you knew Joe, he's very serious about hardcore. and if you know him, you're probably laughing. But he was like, "Well, you got to come down." And at the time, CBGB's was doing weird things on Thursday nights. And I tried to talk my friends into going, and nobody would go. And then I couldn't get in, so I missed out. And then he said, "You got to go." And he told me to go see Circle Jerks at Irving Plaza. I don't know what show that was. And I talked like 10 of my friends into going. I said, "Yo, there's this place, and they're going to play stuff. I don't even give a shit what they play, but everyone's allowed to beat the shit out of each other." And my friends were like, "No." So we went there, and we got in, and before they played, there was like some weird, back in the day, what was so great was it was not uniform. There would be so there was like a shockabilly band went on first.
What year you think this was? 81?
Yeah,
81?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was, but it was some weird band played, say like the High Sheriffs of Blue, which and nobody's like slam dancing or beating each other up. So all my friends went home except for me, my friend Lucho, and my friend Graziano, who were like Lucha was like freaking 9. God knows why his mother was letting him come out with us. The circle tricks go on, and I'm like, holy shit. And like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is insane. Like, I thought it was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life. Oh, my friend Tommy Burns was there too. And I went back trying to tell everybody, you know what you missed. But only a few people went back, and I just was hooked. And then I got this. So I went off into a circle of insanity. But so Billy,
it's okay. That's what this show's about for the most part.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, I go to the rat cage because that's where Joe sends me next. I was like, wherever you tell me to go, I'm gonna go. And I end up with Pay to Come, which is like the freaking life berserk changer, greatest band ever. And Billy Phillips is there from Urban Waste, and he's like, I'm quitting Urban Waste, and I'm going to start a new band. Do you play anything? And I'm like, I kind of play a little guitar. And he goes, I got a guitar. Come with me. And he brings me to the Ravenswood Projects. And Urban Waste was practicing in John Kelly's, where he grew up, on the first floor.
Right.
And
let me emphasize the Ravenswood Projects, right?
Oh, inside the project. It's not like near.
Yeah, let me do a little sidetrack for those from out of the country that may not know. The Ravenswood Projects are projects in Astoria, Queens, off 21st Street, right?
Right next to Queensbridge. Queensbridge.
Right next to the Queensbridge Projects, which I think is one of the biggest projects in America. It's a huge sprawl. Yeah. That's where Nas is from, actually. Yeah. But go on.
No, so I go there, and I'm like, literally they had in Johnny and lived there with his mother, who is so great, and it was nuts, and they have a little drum set, and John at the time really used to play on garbage cans. Like, that sounds like myth crap, he had garbage can lids, and and he had a snare, I think, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is so great, and like, he let me use a guitar, and we're just like. I was playing one note at a time, and we played a show, I think, in a week and a half at the A7, which I think we did like La Bamba, because that was like 3 notes really fast. And everyone just, went, or the 2+2, wherever we played, I don't know. And then it was like, like game changing. So Urban Waste, I would see them practice that with us, because half their band played with, were Major Conflict, because someone had to really play guitar, because I was just banging on it.
Hey Sid, thank you for record of the week, and I hope things are going well with you at the job. And so you're going to be with us on the weekends now.
Yes, every Sunday, guys. I'll really quick, super quick shout outs, really quick.
Go ahead.
First, big major shout out to Silence Equals Death. They sent me this lovely hoodie here, and kind of poignant because when I saw this in the back, I had a little bit of a giggle, but it's really awesome. Thank you, Fred, for sending this. And specifically, Busky. Happy birthday, Busky. If you guys don't know who Busky is, you got to check out his artwork. He does amazing graphical work. He's hooked stuff up for Drew. He works with Black and Blue Productions. You got to see his work, obviously. And if we kind of roll, if we were in by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, guys, feel free to check out my radio show. I know it's down there somewhere. I think it is, Drew. Possibly, maybe.
Hold on. Hey, listen. Hold on there, Skipper. Sid the Kid's radio show. Where are you? Here you go. Boom. How's that?
Okay, guys, if you go to mixlr.com/SDK Sound System. There you go on the website. They have an app for it on Android and iOS, and just check me out there. This week, I have a lot of stuff that I'm dying to play. So I'm just interested.
Thank you, Sid.
I know, Drew. I know this is the time up, Drew.
Thank you, Sid. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Keep it up, guys.
And thank you for being a part of it.
Record choice, too. Enough people don't call out Urban Waste, in my opinion.
No, Urban, listen, that is one of the pillars of the original New York hardcore. Let's lose the Sid banner. And so what else? So Major Conflict, I got a picture or two. Hold on. Let's throw a picture or two up. So we this a Major Conflict picture?
I think so. Because I could recognize Mike O'Shea back there on bass. So yeah, that's a stolen Les Paul too. It's
a what?
It's a stolen Les Paul from a Greek a Greek club in Astoria, literally on my corner.
Listen,
at this point, if they're still looking for me, come get me.
Right. Listen, yeah. So let me see. I got another one too. Let me see what I got here. Well, here's the same Les Paul, right?
Yeah, I held on to that for a while until I hocked it. I hocked it at that place under the Chelsea Hotel when I was coming to California for like $200. I just needed money.
Listen, I brought a guitar in there once too, and it's one of the many regrets I have in this life, man. I brought a Fender Mustang bass in there and hocked it for peanuts, and I regret that.
Right.
Yeah. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
Listen. So, Major Conflict, I want to dig something up. We played together a couple times, Major Conflict in the High and the Mighty at CBGB's.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I seem to remember, might have been the last Major Conflicts show that you were singing.
Yeah, well, our band had a habit of being in a lot of trouble and just a bit chaotic. We never even made it out of. We only played Queens once, like Coventry, and we played Manhattan. We couldn't even make it out of Manhattan or Queens. Like our band was I love those guys, but holy cow, that was insane trying to keep everyone together. And we had a show coming up, and Billy, who was the singer, went to Florida. And I thought, I didn't know anybody that even left New York, but he went to Florida and he never came back. And we had a show, and I was like talking to whoever it was. I'm like, where the heck is he? He goes, he met some girl. He's not coming back. And I'm like, what? And now I think back, and we were like 16 years old. Like, who did he meet at 16 that he never came back? And he's still there. And I hope he's still with her. And we had a show at the Coventry, and no one was going to sing. So, you got to do what you got to do. So
do you remember this place, the Coventry?
I remember that show. I remember, yeah. And like Murphy's Law, how fun. Gilligan's Revenge, Leeway, wow.
Yeah, this was, I think I have the date on this, 11/16/84,
Yeah, that was definitely the first time that I sang because literally I didn't even know half the words because I used to just scream in the background. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to pretend I know stuff.
And then I remember we played, we did a show, I think it was Antidote and Major Conflict was, and I think, could it be that, could Urban Waste and Major Conflict have been on the same bill?
Oh yeah, that would make life easier for us. Not that we didn't borrow everyone's equipment anyway, but yeah, I'm sure. Because we had the same drummer, the same guitar player. So and at some point, I think even I don't know, we were just really blending into each other just to be able to do a show,
And then after that, the Gutter Boy thing happened, right? Tell us a little bit about how the Gutter Boy thing started and all that.
Yeah, it was a crazy world. Again, it was like, it's so funny, retrospect. You look back and you think like, I thought I was, at literally in Major Conflict. I remember before Billy quit, he wanted to do an Alice Cooper song, and I didn't listen to anything. I didn't grow up listening to anything except for whatever reason, Wars the Cult was my thing. So I didn't listen to, and he wanted to do an Alice Cooper song called 18. And I remember thinking, 18, when I'm 18, I'm not even going to be doing this shit, And I thought everything was so, you grew up so fast. So I thought I was like too old for hardcore when I was much too young, And I just went off and tried to do other weird ideas and started a band with a bunch of different people. I didn't know what to do, just sort of writing songs and messing around. And it was sort of Major Conflict, but without Billy showing up and John, our drummer, was just sort of disappearing a lot at the time and we were all going through weird stuff. We just went to different people.
What was the original lineup of Gutter Boy?
I couldn't even tell you. There's
Davey Gunner from Kraut.
Davey Gunner was in the band.
He sent me this photo today. I had to sort of struggle with it. I don't know if you've ever seen this. But it's interesting.
With Johnny. Oh, I love it.
That's you, Johnny, and Davey, right?
That's in Astoria Park, it looks like.
Yeah.
And doing some sort of pretending to be looking at something, I imagine.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I played with Davey, Davey on bass, Matt Green. For a minute, Jack Rabid was the drummer.
Wow.
Yeah, we literally bounced all over the place. You know, it was just a lot of, you know, just trying to find what to do with the band. You know.
And here's our boy Astoria Lou checking in. Saw Gutter Boy at the Lismore Lounge with AJ Leeway in 1991.
There you go. Makes sense. I like that little place, Lismore Lounge. That was that was pretty funky. And then, you know, Gutter Boy sort of fell into this deal with Geffen, huh? How'd that come about? It's this sort of Mr. Magoo madness, you know. It's like we were playing, you know, and it's so nuts. You know, I got a call to do you know, I don't even remember how it happened, to be honest. I mean, you know, we almost signed with Michael Alago, funny enough, because I love your documentary on him. And that's how I got to know Michael, you know. And that was that. We were just some wacky band, you know, that was trying to figure out, you know, what to do. And we ended up doing, like, somebody took pictures for some ridiculous thing. I don't remember what it was. And it came out, and then we had a whole bunch of hype as like sort of like a boy band. And I'm like, hell, whatever these people want to pay me, man, I'll do it. You know, I was so excited to get anything, like, you know, it's funny, you know, whatever. So we got this crazy deal, and it was like, you know, like, it's funny. I deal with actors a lot these days with movies, and like sometimes I see myself in them, you know, and I think I was so full of anger and craziness and energy that I couldn't control myself. And I was writing these totally wimpy words, and I'm trying to tell you them. And I come from this hardcore world where you scream them, and I'm like, damn it. So I try to tell them, listen, just chill. Because I was not the epitome. I'm still not the epitome of not chill. But so we got this deal, and we just sort of went on, and, you know, I found these really fun people to play with.
So speaking of a little craziness, this is another Astoria, Queens native, Mike DeJean checking in. Astoria Halloween fight back in the day, way outnumbered by the Hoyt boys chasing us. Dito sprayed my boy in the face with a fire extinguisher. Think cracked him in the head with it too. Ha ha ha. So
I'm sorry. I hope he's okay. Yeah.
Listen, that, like you said, and you know, thank you. You're in Michael Alago film. It's on Netflix now. And you're also, you know, from that same interview, I sort of poached a piece for the New York Hardcore Chronicles film. Yeah. And you tell this great story you tell about spending the night, you know, into the wee hours at the A7, because, you know, back then the A7 didn't even start until, you know, 1 a.m. or midnight. I'll be generous, midnight. And bands would be playing up until 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And you tell this great story in the New York Hardcore Chronicles film about getting on the train to Astoria on the R or the double R, the N, whatever, right, to Hoyt Street, and going into the last car and pulling all the advertisements off and kicking out all the windows and lighting everything on fire. It is. Those were crazy times, man.
We could have used that fire extinguisher. Who knew I had better use for it? Yeah.
But I mean, any memories of A7 back then and coming back home and that whole bit?
Oh, it was just, you know, it's corny, you know, like, but it was just incredible to me, you know, like, I mean, like, you know, it was weird, you know, like I was always somehow I fit in with all different crowds. You know, I loved the story where I was from, and most of my friends hated the world of hardcore. You know, it was like, you know how it was at the time. You walk down the street, you know, it was like fag or whatever. You know, it was like
fucking homo.
Fag. I mean, like whatever if you did anything, you were a fag.
Fucking homo.
Yeah. But you know, and I had a lot of friends like that. I got down with that crew too. That's just life, you know. And then but hanging out down there, everything sort of changed. And, you know, I remember there was a band I loved that nobody ever brings up, Anti-Warfare, with Claudette.
Yeah, that's a rare one, bro. That's a rare one.
And I just loved them. And I remember Claudette had a party at her house, and she lived on like Avenue B or something. And like First Street, I don't know. It was like a shave your head party. And you know, I remember they shaved everyone's head. And I just remember walking home from there after hanging out at the A7, and for all we know, the Bad Brains could have played that night, which is just the miracle of the time, right? And I'm walking back, and I remember with my head shaved, you know, and I'm I'm thinking, oh my God, like I'm hanging out in the city and these weird people nobody knows about. And I'm walking by a laundromat, and I remember there's a naked guy in the laundromat washing his clothes, and he was hunched over. And I have that vision in my head in a good way forever, because I thought that was the epitome of like how weird this is, you know, like I'm just coming home from some shave your head party at like 5 a.m. Some dude's naked washing his clothes on an Avenue A laundromat. I'm like, that visual, like the long, it's probably right by Ray's or whatever, you know, a cream spot. It just stays in my head. So it's a really, and then we probably kicked out if I was with my friends, we did probably kick out the window.
Our friend Laura Zeitlin checking in. I was at that party, no shaved head.
Okay. Well, good for you. You held out. I was probably like, whatever you want to do, Claudette.
Yeah, you know, I love the shaved head thing, because in the early 80s, and it's hard to convey this to today's crowd, is that back then, you know, the only people that were shaving their heads were like Marines and psychopaths. So if you shaved your head, you know, you were looking for trouble. You know, and I remember walking around with a shaved head in 1981, and people would be like, "Oh, fucking faggot," or you know, hey, fucking Devo, and I'd be like,
"Oh, there's all kinds of names."
Devo, hey, Devo, you know, like I'd be like, Devo.
Well, you know, I have a friend, my friend Jerry, and he's got this wild look, and every like 10 years he gets yelled at a new name. Like it used to be like, yo, Elvis. There was like 6 inches. And then it's like Edward Scissorhands. It's like every 10 years he gets harassed with a new name.
Yeah. But those were interesting. Those were interesting times. And
girl shaved her head. I just thought it was a miracle. You know, like Ray Parada, who put out that great book, Somewhere Below 14th Street and Down with the carrot photographs.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine since kindergarten, literally. Mm-hmm. And he turned me on to Boys to Go, as a matter of fact. And his older brother had a punk magazine. Ernie is his other brother.
Yes, of course. Ernie's a fantastic graphic artist these days.
Oh, no joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their older brother had a punk magazine. I believe it was their older brother.
I didn't know there was another brother.
But yeah, an older one, John. And I remember like Ray had it, and I used to look at the punk magazine, and I've gotten to know the creator guy, who's just a really sweet guy. And I used to just stare at those pictures. And I remember staring at a girl who had a shaved head, and I'm like, I have to find these people. This is way before we even went downtown. So I'm happy that I did find them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang with me a second. Let me shout out the sponsors. Once again, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. Thank you so much for checking in, everybody around the world. Our guest today is Dito Montiel, a filmmaker, author, and musician, an old school New York hardcore soldier. We're super excited to have him on. And want to say also, I got to take this opportunity to fly my banner for PayPal. And I want to thank everybody that has contributed to the show on PayPal. And that's what makes this go around. And your support is really appreciated, man. That's what's up. And a lot of people have thrown their hat in the ring, and that's inspiring. It inspires me, and really keeps me going with this. I want to shout out a couple of PayPal people real quick, and that would be Brian Whittemore, Above and Beyond the Call of Duty. Thank you. Eric Ackerblom, a good friend of mine who works on the Colbert Show. Before that, he was on the Letterman Show. Edgar Reyes, Gina B. Thank you, Gina. Mark Tolch, I know you're watching now. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for your support. Stephen Hogan, brother, thank you. Chad Stacy, Jason Learhoff from Warzone. Matt Gray from Antidote. My own band. Guys fucking contributing to the show. Dominic Colella, thank you. RS70 Entertainment, who, by the way, created this New York hardcore symbol, which I use quite a bit. Thank you for support, and thank you for creating that. Scott Geeman, Nick Mondello, John Lombardi, Stephen Hogan, and Emily Morgan. Those are my PayPal people. You too can be a PayPal person. There it is, rolling underneath. Please contribute, be a part of the show. We're all bozos on this bus. That said, anybody out there, hey, let's who else do I got to shout out here? Oh, yeah. Sid the Kid mentioned Jonathan Buskey. Today's Jonathan Buskey's birthday. Happy birthday, Buskey. He created this ABCs of New York Hardcore with the great legend on the back. There you go. Check that out. 20% off using the discount code New York Hardcore NYHC20. That is at www.busky.bigcartel.com. Jonathan Busky Design. Also, Christine Cambria. Yes, Christine Cambria, who makes this wonderful artwork behind me. The stone house is filled with incredible Christine Cambria art. Christine, www.ccambria.com. Go check out Christine's art. It is really something special. Also, what else do I got here? Yo, every once in a while, I got to mention, if you have one of these communication devices, please follow me on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. That's really the direct conduit to the show and what's going on. Also, we got a Pitchfork. I already shouted out Pitchfork. Yo, thank you for the stuff. You guys, Warren Lee, you were a great guest. Thank you so much. That said, I'm sure everybody's wondering why Arnie Stone house phone hasn't rung during the show yet. We'll see. We might get away without that happening on the show. But listen, it's Dad's house phone. I'm not going to fuck with that. Let me see who else. Giovanna girl. Shout out to my daughter Isabella, who graduated high school, but on a video. Well, that's fantastic, Giovanna. And good. Congratulations, Isabella. That's fantastic. Whitney Crawford, happy 49th birthday to Jason Carter from Sheer Terror and Sick Society. Happy birthday, Jason Carter. What else we got? Lucas from Poland. In Poland, in 1990 through 2010, if you shaved your head, you were skinhead in the worst meaning of the word, Nazi fascist. Nowadays, it changed for good of everybody. Yeah, man. At least it's changed, right? America, American hardcore, American skinhead, a little bit different. There's different sort of factions, but I can only imagine what shaving your head was in 1990 Poland. That's like shaving your head in Russia, in 1990. Let's see. Mark Toll, small price to pay for the hours of entertainment you provide. Well, thank you, man. I'm providing big entertainment. And listen, once again, I'm trying to just create a little bit of an alternate universe if you want to get away from the TV and what's going on. There's a lot of heavy stuff going on in the world here. And man, I'm just trying to create a little bit alternate universe where you can duck into for a little bit and, kind of lose yourselves in a hardcore world. Warren Lee, yo, bro, thank you, Warren Lee. Support Pitchfork. And Warren, let's talk about an A7 compilation in a little bit. That said, we'll bring our guests back on. And please, if you have any questions for Ditto, please post them up and let's have some fun with it. Hey, buddy.
I wish my friends who are torturing me with texts right now would be so bold to write me on here.
Right. Listen, I don't even look. I barely look at my phone now once the show starts because people are. Hey, man. It's like, bro, I'm doing a show. I mean, what the fuck you think I'm doing, man? All right.
Paramedic, and I call him up, and he answers. He's like, I can't talk right now. And then later on,
I'm in triage.
he's like, oh, there was some guy in the street. I go, yo, you don't have to answer if there's like somebody dying. And he's like, well, you call. I know somebody's dying. Man.
Okay, so here we go. From our friend Ray Parada. What is Ditto's favorite pizza in New York City?
Somewhere below 14th Street and below, I think is what he wants me to say. So I'll just say.
Okay. I don't know what this one is. Where is Jerry Mullins? I don't know.
Jerry Muller.
Jerry Muller?
He's on Facebook under the name Kelly Robinson. Go have some fun and check him out.
What's he under? Kelly Robinson?
Kelly Robinson, who happens to be the mother on Lost in Space, and that's only the beginning of it. So
got it.
Take a look.
Chip Love checking in. What's happening, Chip? Ha ha ha. Okay.
Well, I love his video.
Yeah.
Great
Chip.
Yeah.
Dank DeLong. Drew's Alternative Universe is the place to be. Long live New York hardcore.
Dude, I worked with Dank at the Palladium, yo.
Oh, he posted that earlier. He posted that earlier. He said, ask him about the Palladium. Tell us about work. You know who else worked at a couple
Everybody worked there.
Yo, Roger Moret, I think, worked at the Palladium. What was it like working at the Palladium?
Oh, it was insane. It was freaking nuts. I mean, I think half the time everybody was sweeping up pocketbooks. It's horrible. It was like a cocaine insane asylum. Yeah, I remember Dank and like half the people that worked there were taking showers in the. We used to, bring all the glasses back there. I was a busboy, and yeah, that place was nuts. The last I remember was 5 bouncers beating me up and throwing me out the back door. So that's my last memory of the Palladium. Yeah.
And you worked there too, right?
And I worked there, and I think I yelled that as they were beating me up. So yeah.
Listen, that's happened to me too. I was tour managing for Biohazard, and in the House of Blues in Chicago, got into a bit of a scrape, and they threw my ass right out. And I was like, "Yo, I'm the tour manager for the band that's on stage." They're like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah. Well, I was a busboy, and I think I threw a couch into the bathroom mirror. So I imagine I deserved it. Yeah.
The Palladium was originally the Academy of Music. It was a beautiful venue. I mean, it was a really ornate, beautiful venue, and so rich in New York music history. And then sadly, in the end, they tore it down, and it's an NYU dormitory now. So go figure.
And I think they call that dome the Palladium, which is almost like it's a little weird. It's like the dorm.
That kind of hurts. Here's a question from our good friend Larry Kelly up in Boston, who played in Kill Slug, and he's one of the reasons that my A7 shows happen the way they do, because he's a loyal soldier, man. Drew, can you ask him if he plays music anymore?
As my father would say, I play the radio. So yeah, I play. I like Jesse's new music, Jesse Malin.
Yeah,
it's hard to find. I still listen to the Bad Brains. I mean, it's really pretty bad here. I don't let go. But yeah, I listen to music. I don't really play much. I'm trying to teach my daughter to play guitar, but I'm not very good to start with. So
didn't I, if I remember correctly, at one point I was out in LA, might have been doing the Onyx video or something, and I came and saw you play. I think did you have a gig called Southpaw at some point?
Yeah, a whole bunch of different ideas.
Why do I remember you having a thing called Southpaw, which I thought was a great name, which is a great name for
One of the many bands. You try stuff until something hits, or just having fun,
Kevin Christopher, you still got Monty's accordion. I'm not sure what he's referring to there.
I did play the accordion as a kid.
Oh, really?
I did. My father made me play it. I don't know why. He didn't like music, but he wanted me to play the accordion. And I hated it, but I kind of regret quitting it. But no, I don't have his accordion. But I did come to California using the case because I had to put my clothes in something. Very death of a salesman, but I
it's very is that Madonna desperately seeking Susan? She was carrying her shit around in a bass drum case.
She was a little cooler than me, so yeah, I went accordion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Upstate Rick. Do you still write? I mean, let me rephrase this. I mean, are you still writing? Screenplay. I mean, you're still writing, right?
Oh yeah, every day. I mean, it's like it's what I do, and I love it, and it's like sort of like the weird little saving grace of my life because it's like I say, since a kid, you write dumb little ideas, and you find this hardcore scene, and you could actually scream those ideas about your mother or how you don't want to eat government cheese or whatever it is, and then you get older and you keep writing, and that doesn't leave me. I just love it.
And you're a instructor in the screenwriting department at UCLA.
I got kicked out of high school, man. I have no business doing this stuff, but I went and they asked me to do one semester, and I did 2, and it was fun. It was a little. It was strange, when I go to school, I have the last time I was in a school, speaking of fire extinguishers, I shot a security guard with a fire extinguisher in high school, and that was the end of that. So it was weird returning as a teaching, but yeah, I did 2 semesters over at UCLA, and it was fun, like checking out all these ideas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And teaching in that capacity must be really fulfilling and really just fun to just lay it on to kind of young kids that are hungry for that kind of stuff,
Yeah, just give it a shot. Sure.
Yeah.
INT means interior. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So let's talk a little film stuff, which I'm excited.
Sure.
So, yeah, let's push all that other stuff aside. You know, and I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna poke around a little bit. All right.
Go for it. Yeah.
Man, I came and saw one of your films. I came down to a private. It was an early screening, a private screening of one of your films, man, and I fucking loved the film. I thought it was really, really, really great, and that was Man Down.
I love
and
it.
I thought it was really, really a great film, and I thought Shia, is that how you pronounce his name? Shia?
I say Shia, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I thought his performance, I thought it was an incredible film, man. And I really thought as a director, you just did an incredible job with it, man.
Thanks. I mean, I love that movie and I love making it. You know, like each one of them is like its own weird world. And Shia is totally insane. And to me, he's about as good as it gets. Like I've worked with some fun, great people, but I love that guy. And for all the controversial stuff, and also Honey Boy, his new film is just great that he wrote. But he's just great, and I really love making that film. You know, it's a wild ride that was.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I really thought it was really fucking great. Yeah, we went to me and Alago went to a screening. I think it was veterans, right? It was like an all veteran screening.
Yeah, it went on this crazy tour of playing at all different, you know, veterans associations and everything. And Shia was like adamant about literally going to every single one. I think he went to like 80 screenings across America at every, only veterans free can see it. And
that's awesome.
He's like, rip me up if you want. Tell me you like it. If, you know, he's just brave like that, you know? And, you know, and it was just, I've never been more emotional. I mean, I've been emotional about a lot of things we've all worked on, but that was just a real emotional trip because you meet people dealing with, you know, it's no joke. You know, I mean, you know, it becomes a buzzword about 22 people committing suicide. These are crazy numbers, and I had no idea this PTSD world that I fell into, trying to understand it, and I got to meet a lot of incredible veterans, and my friend Nick Jones, who's a Marine sergeant, is about as cool as they get. And if you can drive from LA to New Orleans in a car with Shia LaBeouf, you earned your place. And he was the guy that advised so much of the film. And it was just emotionally, it was a wild experience to be in rooms of, you know, these are a lot of the rooms were selectively, you know, like people dealing with trauma and whatnot. And, you know, it was a weird thing to end a screening and, you know, a four-star general say something good or bad. It was just.
I mean, just quickly, how did that film come into your orbit? Did you write that original screenplay? Did Shia bring it to you? How did that come into your orbit? That film.
That was a wild one. I mean, you know, it's, you know, I'm still the nut that, you know, I have these roots of being that, you know, like, you know, it's funny, you know, people will say, oh, it's so cool you keep doing indie movies. I'm like, yo, I'll do freaking Transformers 6, but no one's calling. You know? Until then, I keep writing and I keep looking, and I'm down if some crazy person says, yo, I have a body in my house and I have a script about it. I'm the nut that sometimes will say, hey, let me check that out, you know? And this was a story that somebody told me about a guy who wrote it, who was dealt with very similar issues. Adam, his name is, and he's a really special writer. And the story sounded incredible to me. And I remember reading the script, and at the time it was sort of convoluted and it was so all over the place. I kind of enjoyed how crazy it was. And it ended, I sort of loved this button that the film had. It was just, I didn't think it was a negative, you know, I mean, there's been some blowback about it. You know, people, you know, when you make a film about subject as tough as that, you've got to expect that you're going to get blowback. Yeah. This was his personal experience, and I thought it was a very positive thing to put out there. And I got to work with him, and then I called Shia up and I said, yo, you got to check this out. Like, I think this is really special, and I think we had a really great time making it. And you know,
yeah,
it's just
I honestly, when I saw that film, I thought he deserved an Oscar for his performance.
Yeah,
I mean that's how real. No, seriously, I thought
he's that good.
Yeah. I thought it was that good. Another incredible milestone in your career is you directed Robin Williams in his last film, which was Boulevard. Could you tell us a little bit about working with Robin and that film?
Oh, I keep getting emotional, like it's this big emotional thing. But that was I guess that's why I sort of stopped myself with The Man Down being the most emotional journey. Robin Williams was the most emotional journey, clearly, even more than Saints in a lot of ways for me, because first of all, that's another script I did not write. A guy named Douglas wrote that, and it was about his life in many ways, coming out in his 60s, you know, and it was just very moving to me, you know, and I loved it because, I just thought it was the story of anybody. And, you know, it's weird because, you know, again, you get blowback, anything you damn do these days, you know, freaking everybody's after you. It's like, you know, well, you can't make a film about a gay subject if you're not gay. And I thought it's a story about a human being, and I just happen to be one. But I do understand, you know, but at the same time, I just loved that story. And I thought it was a beautiful, heartbreaking story about love that just didn't work. And I got to speak with Robin Williams, and, you know, it's like kind of like Robin Williams, like, are you kidding me? You know? How did
you connect with him? Agent said, hey.
Yeah, we're at the same agency, and there was, I mean, look, you know, anybody that does my movies, they're not doing it for the money because there ain't none, you know. You know, but he really.
I hear you, bro.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, you ain't getting rich here, but you might be proud of it, and I hope you will. And usually they are. And he read it, and then I got on the phone with him, and he really wanted to do it. He was adamant about it, and got to meet him. And it's like, you know, sitting with him is like one of those, you know, like I'm really bad about that. Like if I meet really famous people, I still can't help myself but go like, you're Robin Williams. It's like I have to remind him who he is, you know?
Right.
You know, but he was just all the things you imagine, just wild. And I just loved that trip with him, you know? I mean, he was just, and he loved the movie. And I can't tell you, like we shot it in Nashville, and I fell in love with Nashville, which I had no idea, and how it was. And it just, I go back to Nashville all the time because I have this weird thing, you know, the whole situation with him was just, I remember him seeing the film and he loved it. And then hearing the tragedy before it came out. And I was like, what? Like, he was really excited about this. And then, you know, to go on for 1 second about it, you know, you hear these things all the time, and I don't like to get political or about all this stuff. Although sometimes I do, but, you know, a lot of people had come out and they're like, you know, this dude is so rich and he still fucking kills himself. Fuck him. And I thought, yeah, but that's how strong this shit is. Like he's so, like, I remember thinking, like, I don't know a human being on this earth that is more loved than that dude. He can go to a supermarket at 3 a.m. and someone's going to tell him they love him. You know, different generations of people. And it still was too powerful that what he was dealing with in his mind, you know?
Absolutely. And Kurt Cobain comes to mind, you know, here's a guy that really, you know, had a lot going for him.
Yeah.
You know, he was the voice of a generation, and, you know, he was an incredible artist, and yet, you know, there's something behind it.
Let me do my blowback on Nirvana, okay? Because the first time I heard Nirvana, I'm like, what is this garbage everyone's talking about? I actually thought it was like I really thought it was Channel 3, the band, had come out with some crappy record. I might get killed for this. And I was like, this sounds like bad Channel 3 freaking record. And everyone's like, this is groundbreaking. I'm like, you might have missed that. I'm done with hearing these Rolling Stones articles that are like, there was the Sex Pistols and then Nirvana. I'm like, no, hold on a minute. You're missing a little moment here that might start with Bad Brains.
Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, that's my thing. I'm sorry to rip on Nirvana, but I couldn't let it go.
It's okay, bro. It's all right. I was never personally a real big Nirvana fan myself. I wasn't.
I do want to respect the situation.
You know, I mean, but listen, I think that in the Nirvana sense, I think Nirvana and a couple bands like that, they sort of took that American hardcore ethos that you and I were around for so early on, and they sort of incorporated that sort of spirituality and that ethos into their music. And
it just wasn't as good. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it was like, you know who they sounded like, but not as good? And I'm going to do a real throwback. Shock. I freaking okay, Dimitri, I love him.
Wait, I got a picture somewhere. Wait, hold on. Let's go to the videotape. Hold on. Here is
and Berto passed away, and I love that guy. He was a trip. But Shock, they just had that distortion. They were kind of like
yeah.
What was that band that had like Who Am I? Wild Void? They were like Void, but like the New York Void, but just total chaos.
Oh fuck! I had a shot of you and you and Taggart, Sean Taggart.
Oh, Sean, yeah, Sean. He's Shock too. There you go.
Yeah. Here's one. I want to fly this because this is my boy. Here's a nice one of you on the set in Astoria, Queens shooting, and there you have Astoria Lou stopping by with the Major Conflict 7-inch. You know, so that's some real Astoria right in the house right there. That's one of my good friends, Astoria Lou. And wait, hold on. While I'm digging in here, let me see what else I hate when the show ends and I'm like, fuck, I forgot to put that picture up. What the fuck? You know? Let me see what else I got. Well, I like this one. I mean, I'm a little impartial to this one. Do you remember when this was?
Is that when you were doing the interviews for Michaels?
Yeah, this is when I interviewed you for Who the Fuck Was That Guy? Yeah, my brother's house in Santa Monica. Right. No, in Venice. My brother's in Venice, but close enough.
That's a good trip you got there.
Yeah. So you also work with Al Pacino. That must have been a trip.
That was no joke, dude. Let me tell you.
Tell us, please.
Okay, I have a funny story, an Al Pacino story, right?
Please.
He's so excellent, right? Like he also, let me just say, he was turning 70 while we're filming, and he was also doing Shakespeare in the Park at night. So that's what you call an artist, okay? The real deal, like, you know. But we're hanging out in the Queensbridge project because that's where we're filming, you know. And it's Al Pacino. It's early in the morning, so there's nobody there, right? I mean, you know, it was not a huge crew. It was a pretty small scene setup, strange as that may seem. And so Al Pacino, Ray Liotta, and Channing Tatum are sitting on three, like chairs, whatever, right? Right in the middle of the Queensbridge projects, which three white guys sitting on high chairs in the middle of Queensbridge projects at like 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning is weird enough. Never mind those three, right? So I'm standing outside, and people are setting up, and I see some guy come walking out, and he walks right by Channing Tatum, and he kind of gives a half look back, and he keeps walking, and he sees Ray Liotta, and I see him slowing down, then he sees Al Pacino, and then I literally see him stop, and he turns and he goes, "Yo, scent of a woman, yo!" And Al Pacino goes, "Wah!" And I was like, "Damn, I wish I filmed that."
Yeah, I didn't realize that you shot part of that there.
Oh, almost the whole film in Queensbridge projects and in Astoria.
Yeah. I didn't know in Queensbridge projects.
Everything in Queens.
Also, tell us a little bit about the Clapper.
James Fung. Let me give him a shout.
Oh yeah, James. Yeah,
big advisor on that movie. Needed me. Yeah.
Tell us about the Clapper.
Clapper was a book that I wrote, and just of like dumb stuff, like what you might just, and I saw it as this real heartbreaking sort of story, dealing with fame and the madness of the exploitation that I see a lot of people get really quickly. I what really sparked that idea, and it was a really weird one, and this is probably not the most popular thing to say, but I remember while I was living out in Los Angeles, I saw, somebody posted, remember when the building blew up on 2nd Avenue next to Gem or whatever, right?
Of course, that was the building that had Love Saves the Day, which was the clothing store. And by the way, as a side note, the landlord just got sentenced because what they did, the reason that building blew up is because they illegally tapped into the Con Edison gas line. And that's what caused the explosion. And the landlord and the guy that she hired to illegally tap into the gas just got sentenced. And they're doing a couple years. And that building blew up and killed 2 innocent people.
Oh, wow. That's and the French fry place, not to mention, there was a
the Palmas Fritas, right?
That was a really good French fry.
And which was, of course, right down the block from Free Being Records.
Actually, that was right at Free Being. Yeah, the good old.
Remember Annette from Free Being?
Hey, she gave us a Rock Hotel show. I can never say thank you enough.
I know. She was married. She was married to Nobby Bones. She was married to Nobby for a while. Yep.
Oh, well, yeah. I remember seeing him for a second on your Jimmy Drescher show, which I love Jimmy forever. Yep. But so I don't even know where I was going with that one. But so there was a picture of a girl, the Clapper. There was a picture on the cover of the New York Post of 2 teenage girls standing in front of the building burning, right? They took a selfie, right? And it was like the post was ripping them up, saying, you know, selfie, whatever, you know?
Right.
Everybody I know is posting like, fuck these girls, you know? And I'm thinking like, holy shit, you know, like when I was a teenager, I'm sorry. If there was a building burning, I'd have taken a fucking picture in front of it if I had a camera. I didn't have one. I just was a dumbass, like these girls probably were. And I saw I thought their whole life is in hell now. And everybody's writing them. And I'm thinking, so that's where the idea of like this unwanted, unexpected fame can be destructive, which today it's happening only that much more, you know?
Wow, that's
I just thought it was an interesting point of view.
You know, absolutely. Anybody out there? We're heading down the home stretch. Anybody have any questions for Dito? Please post them up. I want to thank everybody for around the world for checking in. This has been a real personally gratifying show for me. So, you know, it's been great. I want to thank our sponsors, Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. I want to thank everybody that supports the show on Patreon and everybody that's contributed on PayPal. I want to quickly announce a couple of shows coming up. This Wednesday, we have the man. No, actually, excuse me. These two flyers, Steven, these two flyers look a little alike, so I get confused. A week from today, we have the Gallo brothers, Mike Gallo and Steve Gallo, coming on the show. And then this Wednesday, let me make sure I get it right, you know. Let me see. Where is that fucker? Let me get this right. Here he is. Jack Grisham from TSOL is on the show on Wednesday. So that guaranteed, you know, strap yourselves in. Jack Grisham is this is going to be a super vibrant show. And then very excited about the show that's coming up on Friday. Where is it? Where is that sucker? There's a new, I gotta find a new, I gotta post up the new flyer for this show. Where the hell is that thing? How does shit just disappear? I don't know. All right, I'll go with the old flyer for now. That is the boxing show with Arnie Stone, Craig Satari, Sean Sullivan, and Don Foos. We're going to talk boxing. We're going to get into a lot of cool shit on the boxing show. We're going to talk about Detonay Wilder and Tyson Fury. But, you know, my dad worked with Muhammad Ali and Willie Pep. And my dad was an amateur boxer. Craig Satari was an amateur boxer. Don Foos was an amateur boxer. And Sean Sullivan is a boxing historian. He's with DeBella Entertainment. So the boxing show on Friday is going to be a lot of fun. I hope you come and check it out. That said, let me see what else we got. Yes, boxing. We're doing a boxing show. So here we go with Dito again. Let's ask him this question. Where are you? There you are. Any actor you would like to work with that you haven't?
I mean, we'll see when they come. I like Big Ed from 90 Day Fiancé. But like I said, I'm going to do one with Terrence Howard again, and I just love working with him. So that's kind of the fun stuff. But bring him on.
What is this? This came up a couple of times. Here, the Major Conflict CD. I actually have. I think this is the back of the Major Conflict CD. Is this the back of the Major Conflict CD?
Yeah, that's Billy. That's Billy.
Right. So Lynn says on the Major Conflict CD, who out of the band is in the fight scene? LOL.
Let's see. Oh, well, everybody. Oh, that's John. Oh, that was John. Yeah, I mean, literally, our rehearsals often turned into fights with each other, unfortunately, or wherever. I mean, it was a wild time. I mean, I still don't know where those 45s ever went. I mean, the 40. That's I don't even know what that was that you just showed. That was weird.
Yeah, but, hold on. You want to see it again? Hold on.
But I think that was
no. I think that what I just put up was a CD. Wasn't there a CD with everything on it?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That I don't know. It's some recording of everybody beating each other up. Everybody was freaking crazy in that band. So of course there was insanity. Yeah. Probably at Tukasa for all we know.
Oh, here you go. Steen from Denmark. That's a great CD.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I do like the fighting stuff on it, though. It is kind of fun, yeah. I remember John screaming at Nick, the bass player, and then I think all hell broke loose. I was a bit of a peacemaker, believe it or not, in that band, but yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of times, well, especially back in the day, a couple of volatile personalities, made for an interesting band. I mean, when I joined Antidote, Googie was playing drums, and it was a volatile band and a volatile situation. And sometimes, when you're young, that is part of the.
I still remember Nunzio having like that big guitar, right? Like, was it he was like the first guy. Was it a Flying V or something?
Yes, it was. It was a Flying V.
Like nobody had that. It was like.
Hold on, let me find one. Yeah. Let me see.
I have these memories.
Yeah, I mean that Flying V is here. You go. Boom. This photo's taken by our friend Jessica Bard. This is at the Rock Hotel, which was on Jane Street. This might have been the first show that I sang for Antidote. But here's the Flying V.
Yeah, I remember that Flying V.
And there's Jimmy down there. But yeah, that Flying V is what he recorded "Thou Shalt Not Kill" on, and that's a classic,
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of people, back then people didn't really have quality instruments,
No. I wasn't part of
it was kind of the whole thing. Let me bring on let me bring on the rest of my guys. Rat Bones and Sid and Steven. Let's see. Hey, Steven.
Hey, how are you?
He's in the jungle.
How are you? Yeah, where are you, man? What's going on?
I'm in the bushes.
Napalm.
Yeah, right.
I'm laying low. The big dog next door is making a lot of noise.
All right. What's
That
happening?
That's
all the way to the back of the yard.
Wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ditto.
No, I'm saying that looks like that fake background you get on Zoom.
All right.
Nah, this is the real thing.
All right. Sid, what's happening, Sid?
Just getting ready in another 20 minutes, man. I'm just itching, ready to do the show. It's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna do your DJ show?
Oh yeah.
Here you go, live from the bushes.
I know.
There you go.
He might be we're keeping Tom too. Who knows?
Rat Bones, you keep him busy?
Wow, it's a whole thing here. Yeah.
Rat Bones, you keep him busy?
What's up?
What's that? Wait, what's that? An Astoria Queen's Outburst shirt?
Yeah, man, you know what we do.
Right on. Cool. Good. All right.
For bands, well, that's part of 70. Come on.
There you go. You guys got any questions for Ditto?
I had a great time, Ditto. It was great.
Me too. Great stories.
Yeah.
Great stories.
I like
the show every week, man.
Hey, you know what I wanted to, Ditto, I wanted to ask you, on the film thing, and I'm sure any films. Can you give me a couple films that really influenced you and still to this day resonate with you?
I mean, I wasn't a real film buff growing up, I was.
It's so incredible, man. Your story is so incredible.
It's really weird. No, but I love. Listen, man, I love freaking reality TV. I'm sorry, 90 Day Fiancé, yo. I'm so in. It's not even funny.
What's it called?
90 Day Fiancé, but before the 90 days. It's all about Big Ed.
My God.
That's my life. It's horrible, but I like that. I like a lot of documentaries but films. I mean, I love Cinema Paradiso. I remember I love Once Upon a Time in America. I think that movie. It's when I went through the Sundance Labs, it's funny.
That's Sergio Leone.
Yeah, but that movie,
hey,
you put it on anywhere and shut it off anywhere, and it's great.
Are you a Coppola fan?
Excuse me.
Are you a Francis Coppola fan?
He's all right. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I like TV. Good Times. I grew up watching freaking, Good Times. I mean, my history doesn't go very deep. Unfortunately,
I just recently watched Once Upon a Time in America after many years. I mean, I think the last time I saw it is when you would rent a VHS tape from Crazy Eddie's, and watch a bad VHS. And I watched, a sort of a restored sort of cut of it, and you know, it was pretty incredible. You know,
the music alone, anything.
Yeah.
That composer Ennio Morricone to me.
Of course, that's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and yes, that's Sergio Leone's guy. You know.
Yeah, that movie is a really special film, and you know, yeah.
Absolutely.
And Good Times, JJ. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're getting. Remember when Michael joined the gang in Good Times? You know.
There you go. You want influential? Come on.
Yeah. And then here you go. This is a good one. Quote: "Wasn't a film buff," and then mentions 2 stellar films. Ha 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 ha.
Well, you know, I'm a late bloomer. You know, like I get turned on to things, you know, a little bit later, but I start loving them. I'm like, oh wow, that guy's not bad. Let me check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been actually, just for the record, I never watched it. I've been watching it now because, you know, in the pandemic, you just sort of. I've been watching Ray Donovan for the first time. You know,
I heard that's really good.
All, you know, 7. I've watched, you know, 2 or 3. We watched 2 or 3 episodes a night, and I'm finally. I mean, I watched all that other crap. I watched The Tiger King and like all that shit, and I watched The Steisel, which is shot in Jerusalem. I enjoyed that, and unorthodox.
On a Tiger King note, you know, I told you my old boss directed that freaking thing.
You told me that. Yeah. What's the story with that?
I don't know. I mean, Eric Good, I see his name. I used to work at a club that he had in New York called MK as a busboy, and I was security too. And I see his name. I'm like, that can't be the guy that owned that place. And sure enough, I heard he had a turtle farm, but so much. I guess that led him to the Tiger King, but that worked out.
You know, Hollywood is like that, man. What's it called? What's it called? You know, he fell up. You know, my brother uses that. He fell up. You know. So that's that point. But let me get Rap Bones on here. Ditto, I want to thank you, man. Thanks for coming on the show. I wish you all the best, man. You know, you're an inspiration to many, man. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I love the show. I'm always watching it. I love each segment. So I'll be watching and writing comments. You know, trying to get through.
Thank you, bro. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll see you. You know, when I'm out there, man.
Be out there. Okay. Stay well, everybody.
Take care.
Take care.
Nice, brother.
Wow, that was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, man. That was awesome.
You got to work with Al Pacino, man. That's
bro. Listen, Ditto's the man. It's such an inspiring story. You know, here's a guy. Here's a rough and tumble New York hardcore guy. Listen, for those out there that may not know, back in the day, Ditto was a rough and tumble guy, man. He was not to be fucked with. And, you know, he really just sort of, you know, fell into this stuff. He had no film background, you know, and it's a real testament to someone that had the New York hardcore, you know, ethos and the New York hardcore work ethic and just, you know, fuck it. I'm going to do it. Get up, get out, and make shit happen. And you know, that's what happened there, man. And it's just an incredible story, man. And how he got out there and became successful out in Hollywood. And the fact that he's worked with Pacino and it's just Robin Williams, and it's very inspiring.
It just shows you, you know, he's just a genuine person, you know.
Absolutely, and he's a well-loved person, and you know, it was great. I want to thank everybody, you know, who checked in from around the world. It was a really fun show, and you guys, I hope everything's okay. I hope everything's okay in Manhattan, Rap Bones.
It seems okay tonight. I mean, Union Square is going off. I hear something's going on in Times Square right now. Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
More importantly, I found something for the boxing show that I think you're going to really appreciate.
Did you?
I do have. It's even ratted and tatted.
All right, good. Sid, good luck. Sid, good luck with your show today.
Yes, Sid, good luck.
Okay, and we'll see you soon, Sid. Take care. Steven, we'll talk soon. And
absolutely,
you know, we got a couple new shows we're going to announce very soon. And thanks for being a part of the team, man.
Thanks for having me.
Rap Bones.
Hey, man.
Do you, baby.
See you later, guys.
I'll see you later, buddy.
Good time on the line.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. It's all good. Do sound bites next time.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. That was a show that was really near and dear to my heart. And, Dito, it was just incredibly inspiring. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Steen, thank you for coming by. Giovanna, thank you so much. Lynn's killer show. Thank you for being a part of it. Chucky, what's up, brother? Coming back to New York soon. Adrian, that was such an awesome and humble guy. Yo, Dito's great, man. Great guy. Larry Kelly, yes, I was blown away by it. Dito's really authentic. Absolutely. Mark, yep, great show, man. It was great. I knew it was gonna. I am the central scrutinizer. Bye. See you later. Alan, later, player. I'll see you later. Once again, this is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Entertainment and New York Hardcore Comics. Do good things and good things will come to you. We'll see you on Wednesday with Jack Grisham.